All right, today we are going to talk about a communication framework that is so powerful, it might just change the way you build every argument from here on out. It's called the pyramid principle, and trust me, it's the secret to building a killer business case. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're sitting in a meeting, and a colleague is presenting something they're clearly passionate about, but the message just isn't landing. The idea is good, but the delivery is all over the place, and the main point gets totally buried. It's frustrating.
So let's walk through a classic scenario. Imagine your colleague comes up to you. They're about to pitch a huge idea, getting the company to finally invest in AI, and they want your feedback on their presentation.
Okay, so this is how they kick off their pitch. Now, as we go through this, pay really close attention to the order they present things in.
So they lead with this, a chart showing that 60% of competitors are already using AI. Okay, that's an interesting stat, I guess, but where are we going with this? What's the point?
And then they hit you with another number. 40% of customers want faster, AI-driven services. Again, another interesting piece of data, but right now it feels like we're just collecting random puzzle pieces. We have no idea what the final picture is supposed to look like.
And then, whoosh, a flood of details. Our current systems are all manual, we don't have the right infrastructure, we need a big investment, we could automate tasks. And then, only at the very, very end, almost like they're afraid to say it, they land on, so maybe it's time we embrace AI? By that point, you've completely checked out.
So your colleague looks at you and asks for feedback. What do you even say? Look, the problem isn't the information, right? The facts are fine. The problem is the structure. They built their entire argument from the bottom up, and it just doesn't work.
And here's why it falls apart. It's cause and effect. They made the mistake of leading with all that granular data, and the consequence? The main point gets completely lost. They buried the key insight that our manual systems are holding us back, so the whole story feels disconnected. And because they saved their actual proposal for the very end, it just feels like a weak afterthought, not a powerful conclusion.
So how do we fix this mess? Well, this is where our hero enters the story, the pyramid principle. It is such an elegant and honestly an incredibly effective way to structure your ideas to avoid every single one of those problems. The core idea here is so simple, it's brilliant. You start with the answer. That's it. You lead with your main point, your big conclusion, your key recommendation, right up front. No suspense, no big reveal, you just give them the punchline first.
And here's what that structure looks like. Think of it as a pyramid. Right at the very top, the peak, that's your answer. The layer right below it, that's where you put your key supporting arguments, the big whys. And then the foundation, the wide base of the pyramid, that's all your detailed data, your evidence, the nitty-gritty stuff that proves your points. See? Each layer logically supports the one above it.
Now, why is this so effective? Well, it's all about efficiency. Think about senior leaders or busy executives. They don't have 20 minutes to go on a long journey of data discovery with you. They want the bottom line, and they want it now. The pyramid principle respects their time by getting straight to the point. Okay, so let's rewind. Your colleague took your feedback, and they've completely rewritten their pitch using the pyramid principle. Let's take a look because the difference is like night and day.
Boom! Right there, first slide. The main conclusion stated clearly and with confidence. There's zero confusion. The audience knows exactly what this is about and what the key takeaway is from the first 10 seconds. Now, remember this statistic, the 60% of competitors? Now it has context. It's not just a random fact anymore. It's the first powerful piece of evidence supporting that main conclusion. It tells us we're falling behind.
And the 40% about customer expectations? Same thing. It now serves a crystal clear purpose. It reinforces the urgency by showing us what our customers are demanding.
And finally, the recommendations. Instead of feeling tacked on at the end, they now feel like the logical, inevitable next steps. Because we've already bought into why we need to act, the how just falls into place. Invest, train, automate. Of course, it just makes sense.
So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? The pyramid principle isn't just a slide template. It's really a new way of thinking. It actually forces you to clarify your main point for yourself before you ever get lost in all the details. Ultimately, you're making a fundamental shift. You stop asking your audience to solve a confusing puzzle, and instead, you start guiding them, step by step, through a powerful, logical, and incredibly persuasive argument where every single piece of information has a clear job to do. So,
The next time you're prepping for a big meeting, writing an important email, or building a presentation, ask yourself this question. If you start with the answer first, you won't just be heard, you'll actually be understood. And that can make all the difference.